screen and we will get started. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Nope.
Yeah.
Just you.
Just me. Okay, cool. We're off to a strong start. Wait, can you see it now, maybe?
Now we can
see it now.
The big screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I have two screens, so I wanted to make sure that we were sharing the right one. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're really excited to have you to kick off this board seat certification program. It has been years in the making for the Junior League of Boston, and really excited to share with you all what we have coming and planned and answer any questions that you have about the application process. So before we begin, we always start with our mission for all of our Junior League meetings. So the Junior League of Boston is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving communities through effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Its purpose is exclusively educational and charitable. My name's Lauren Bach. I've been in the Junior League for the last 5 years and currently serving as the Board Seat Initiative Chair. And this initiative is part of the Training Council. So we're always looking for members to get involved. We host various trainings throughout the year, probably about anywhere from 30 to 40. In the past 2 years, due to COVID, they've been completely virtual. So there's just so much out there that the Training Council does. And one of those areas we're also focused on is board seat. And excited on the call tonight, I have Melissa Rosman, who is a board seat initiative member right now, helping me kind of kick off this program. We also have Courtney Scrubs, who developed this program. So she's going to help us. And both of us will answer questions, and anything I can't answer might have Courtney chime in as well. Really excited to execute what she's put together the last few years. So to kick it off, I mentioned, just for those who just joined, for those that want to go off camera, you're welcome to. I have a few slides to share with you all tonight about the Junior League of Boston, what the Board Seat Initiative is, the Board Seat Certification Program, why we started it, what's the point of it, the application process, and then future opportunities. I think we're really excited to kick it off for 2022 in January, but we already are noticing like different things that we could be doing and how we can make this even bigger and better in fall of 22 as well. So Board Seat Initiative, the reason it started is our current issue is that boards are underrepresented, both with women on the board seat level. And this is not just at our local level, so within Boston, within Massachusetts, but also at a national level. And we're seeing this both within the profit and nonprofit areas where we are underrepresented. And the skills that, women and other members can develop can help lead women to then join from the nonprofit world going to the profit sector. So there's definitely an opportunity for women and other members to really join those board leads, learn those skill sets in the nonprofit sector, and then join the profit sector. And one of the ways that we're trying to combat this is through different, a number of different organizations are trying to help close this gap. One of them being YW Boston with their Parity on Board Coalition. And what they're really seeking to do is ensure gender parity on public boards and commissions. And so they create policies that help govern the industries and affect our local day-to-day within our community, which then in turn affects the communities and the children. And right now, women only make up 20% of Fortune 500 board members, but yet we're over 50% of the population. So there is a huge opportunity for women to get trained into leadership, to get the proper training that they feel comfortable with, to get that board seat training, and to then serve on a nonprofit board, and then hopefully eventually transfer those skills into a profit board. And so what the Junior League of Boston noticed was that there's an importance to really start an initiative and to have a separate part of the Training Council focused on board seat training. And so as it's evolved over the last 5 to 6 years, it has been kind of like 3 pillars now that it's at. It started with exposure trainings. So these were just like general trainings that we would have, how to get on a board, grant writing, understanding financial statements. There were also board seat panels that we've hosted over the years. And while those are all really good and giving that exposure, the one opportunity that we've really seen is extensive trainings, this intensive, more of a stronger curriculum that we can get members to get certified so they feel really confident in applying to different board seat positions, or if they're already on board seat positions, learning necessary skills and growing that skill set even further and apply it to their day-to-day at the board. And then the last piece is placement. I think prior to me joining Board Seat Initiative, I didn't realize how big of a gap there was in terms of like gender parity and representation on boards, and how important it is for, for us to match members with that. There's also a lot of boards out there looking for, women with various different backgrounds, from HR to, from fundraising to different folks. And there really is a board seat opportunity for everyone that's out there. So that's kind of the last pillar. And today we're going to focus, all of our talk about that middle pillar, the board seat certification program. And we're going to have 2 sessions, one in January, which we're focused on today, and then we're also going to have one in fall, so October of 22. And then before diving into the certification program details, again, I want to highlight how this has really come about. And it's really been like 5 to 6 years in the making. So Pamela and Emily Ann really saw the opportunity to develop these board seat trainings through the council about 6 years ago, and Emily Ann executed them. And then Courtney, when she became board seat chair in 2019, really saw the opportunity to take it even further into this next level, where we're being intentional with women interested in developing their technical and soft skills from board leadership. So she's really championed this program with Caitlin Berger's help when Caitlin was the former VP, and really excited to kick this off with cause strategy partners in 22. So I think before diving into the board seat, initiative or board seat certification program, any questions so far about like the board seat initiative and kind of why the Junior League is pursuing it and doing this? Cool. All right. So moving on is, the board seat certification program. When we, especially Courtney, when she was looking at there's a lot of different vendors out there, partners that we could have done. And, Courtney, and we saw different organizations out there. Cause Strategy Partners is an awesome partner for us. They really transform leadership in the social good sector by partnering with top companies to train and support high impact professionals for board seat positions. So they're not only do they do work within the nonprofit sector, but they also do work in the for-profit sector, which is really, again, one of the goals is to get women onto nonprofit boards, eventually to for-profit. And in addition to that, they were really able and open for us to customize a curriculum that we felt would be best for both Junior League of Boston members and then Greater Boston, non-members who are interested in taking this program as well, and customizing it to what we felt would be strongest for our needs. So the way that the certification will be broken down, it's going to be completely virtual. So more Zoom calls, but there is a benefit to that because hopefully it's flexible with everyone's calendars and schedules. It's going to be broken up into 5 sessions across the month of January, and they're going to be for 1-hour sessions from 6 to 7 p.m. at night. In addition to these, 5 different sessions, there's going to be 2 exclusive interviews that we have with the Junior League Boston leaders and board seat experts. So some of the women you saw back on that previous slide, Courtney Scruggs and then Pamela Lynch, will also speak to the group and really share their board seat expertise and knowledge. Both women have served on numerous boards, have extensive information to share with the group. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see, not only the Cause Strategy Partners curriculum, but then also pair it with some women that have led Junior League and can share our expertise with the group. So before diving into each individual session, because I kind of have a slide on each, any questions so far on the program itself? Okay, I think we're good. All right, so let me go to this. So our first session is all about becoming a board superstar. And this is going to be taught by Jamie Gardner, who's a board seat executive trainer. Participants are going to learn data-driven approaches to organize your work, leverage your skills and experience for the greatest outcomes. So it's really giving us a great foundation before getting into the 3 other pillars of board seat that we'll cover. And as I mentioned, this session will also feature Courtney. So Courtney's served on numerous nonprofit boards. She served on the Capital Network, court-appointed Special Advocates for Children, and Student National Medical Associations. So just really excited to learn from her expertise and knowledge as she shares it with the group on, what's a great foundation that we can have as a board leader then going into the boardroom. The second session is going to focus on financial oversight. So this is all about getting comfortable and of reading and understanding financial reports. Some of the women on the call might already have a financial background, or but for those that don't, or those who want to there's, obviously differences with nonprofit financial statements versus for-profit. And so learning those nuances, becoming familiar with the reports and making sure you're asking the right strategic questions instead of just like glancing at it and being like, what am I looking at? And having those conversations with the other directors in the room, when you're serving on the board is really important. So Jamie will also be leading this session for us. And again, really excited to make sure, getting those financial statements and asking the right questions there. The third session is going to be a participant mixer. So this will not include cost strategy partners. It's going to just be the training council. So basically board seat initiative. One of the things and elements that we see is networking is always really important. A lot of these sessions are going to be very content heavy and packed. And while members will get to meet one another, I think what we're really hoping is to foster connections within the with members of the group. So more details to come on what we'll be doing, but really just trying to get to connect outside of the curriculum sessions for this session that week. The third one is going to be about fundraising, and this is going to be led by Brenda Acer. She's the president and CEO of the Alford Group and is a board lead executive trainer. And so boards are just getting called upon to do more, especially within COVID. And there's more, especially with the recession, to our society's renewed focus on racial equity. So resource development is changing in real time, and Brenda's going to help educate all of us, like how can we equip board members to reach the potential donors and explore various fundraising strategies, especially in the COVID-19, post pandemic, it's still going on in the pandemic. And in addition, the session will include an interview with Pamela Lynch. So she's the one that started these board lead trainings years ago when she was president, and currently serves as the president-elect of WPI's Alum Association and Youth Villages board member. So for this session, again, it's all focused on fundraising, learning how to reach out to your network, and what are the right strategies to help grow your fundraising goals. And then the last session is diversity, equity, inclusion, and empower in the nonprofit boardroom. And so this is going to build off of session 3 and will be led by Whitley Richards. She's the Chief Program Officer at Cost Strategy Partners, and Erin M. O'Connell, and she's the director of board lead at CSP. And so they're going to teach us how to use our power as participants, to use their power as a board member to advance the nonprofit mission while representing the interests of the community. And this is more important than ever, I think, and we want to make sure that all the women participating are aware of this and know what the right things to do in the boardroom when they're serving. So I know I just went through that a lot pretty quickly. Any questions on any of the sessions so far before moving on to the application process?
Lauren, we've gotten a couple questions through the chat. I was hoping you could speak to a little bit. First is, if you've already served on a board in the past, is this certification still relevant?
Yeah, great question. So it is, I think, and Courtney, I might ask you to also chime in too on it. I think the best part with the partner that we've selected, Cost Strategy Partners, is they help grow those who have no experience to those that do. And I think we've all experienced a lot in the last 2 years, and the world has changed, and this curriculum is reflecting that change. So I think it can only make you a better leader in the boardroom even if you have experience now to take this course. Courtney, any thoughts you have on that?
Yeah, sure. So I first want to say you're doing a really awesome job, Lauren, in taking this and executing it. And I know that inherent in there might be some challenge in executing and kind of taking the pass off as we transition, and then transition also from being, COVID insulated to now being in person and a lot of different moving parts. And so I just want to congratulate you in front of everyone that you're doing a great job at this. So, and I'm also really excited to see that it's taking form and it's actually going to happen this year.
It's going to happen.
So I would say to that question, absolutely. This, when we were putting this together, we sort of looked at our members and community members in 2 buckets. It's those who are brand new to board service, meaning have never served before or sitting in their first board seat just by happenstance. Somebody asked and they said yes. And then there's like general board board information sessions that we could provide. And those are the sessions that you would see on the digital cheetah calendar, right? So anybody can join in, anybody can sign up. And if you're brand new to board service, those sessions are sort of at your level, right? And then this is intended for folks who are committed to board service, who know for sure that they want to be in a board seat, or who have already served and are looking to amplify. And that doesn't mean that one or more of the sessions will not include information that you already know. Some of it is going to be review. But the other point is, like I think Lauren mentioned, there is a community learning component to this, right? So if you are super strong in a particular area and you're learning in a small, intimate cohort, which is also by design, then you'll be able to contribute your knowledge to the group and learn from others as well. So the point was to put together a small group of women who are at another level of commitment so that they can learn from cost strategy partners and benefit from their connections and information, but also that they can learn from each other and benefit from that connection as well.
Perfectly said.
Thank you. Do you have time for a couple more questions?
Yep.
Can you speak to how the certification is valued or perceived by companies, and how you might suggest to completion to a current or future employer?
Yeah, great question. I'm probably going to have Courtney also speak to this as well. So I think this is the first session of many to come. The greater vision of this program is that it becomes I think when I think of like the 5-year vision is that this is a board certification that other boards look to source candidates. So they want to see the certification for Boston Boys and Girls Club or different nonprofits that are out there to really elevate them and to add those leaders to their board. In this infancy, we are working on establishing those connections with Boston Women's Foundation, as well as the YW Boston, and I've reached out to them there's other opportunities, and I'll go through it in a few slides on like how we see us greater, adding that certification and amplifying it. There are other certifications out there. I'm not going to say that there aren't, but I think what's great about this is this connects you with Boston women that are in this community and really fostering your network. A lot of the different roles, I think there's roles out there. We all meet people, we see them, and then we think of them in the future. And I think that's where this is an opportunity over maybe just a general national nonprofit board certification program. So I think there's a lot to come on participating, and then alum events, different things that we can do in the future as well. Courtney, any builds to it?
No, I think you basically said it all. The one thing I might add is that I think the certification will be seen differently by different organizations. What we were intending to do is build something that had credibility from the start, and then was going to build more credibility as time goes on, which is reflected in the partner that we chose. Cost Strategy Partners has a lot of credibility in this area. So creating something with them will communicate value to people in this industry who sort of know, okay, they're not creating anything that's fluff, number one. And number two, creating a certificate, there's requirements. You have to complete each session, and if the program goes as we, I think, anticipated it last year, there's some assessments that have to be met in order to get the certification. So again, not something that you can just cruise through, but something that someone can look at a certificate and know this is someone who's serious, who's taken the time, resources, and has hit certain benchmarks in order to achieve this certificate.
Great, thank you. I have a couple more. The chat's really blown up right now. A couple more questions for now. Will the board certification cost count towards community and training membership contribution?
Yes. So as of right now, it will not. It's a great question, and I think we should have probably added that in. I think it's something we can look to in the future. I will confirm. I will double confirm that. But as of right now, it would be a separate thing.
Thank you. And then I think one more question here that you might be getting to later, but can we review what happens after the certification? Does this group help place board members?
Yes. So that's one detail we can get to on like where we see that integration. There's already some different boards that have reached out to me. Peabody House Foundation, the Boston Women's Foundation is heavily interested in sourcing members from this pool of candidates into board seat opportunities that they have. And so I think there's already that interest there. And then we would help place you afterwards. If you're interested, you might already have other opportunities that you're seeking and connections elsewhere. But I think where possible, we want to foster that connection and to help see you through a process as you actually join a board. Okay. Other questions, Melissa?
I think we're all set for now. Thank you.
Cool. Great. All right. So the application process. So really to make sure there's that good collaboration and connection that Courtney was speaking to, really want to foster for conversation and dialogue. We're limiting these cohorts to 20 members. And so for this session, there's 10 Junior League Boston members and ideally 10 non-members is what we're looking for the January session. This program will be completely virtual. I'm going to repeat it again. So hopefully that, makes it easier to participate in the 6 events. Again, they're 1 hour for each of those dates. And for the application, we're looking for 2 things. The first is we're looking for your resume just to get a better idea of your background, your professional experience, if you've served on a board, if you haven't. And then second, really understanding why you're applying for this certification, what you're looking to get out of it. We're not looking for a long essay. It's really like no more than 300 words, but the idea is for the board seat initiative team to really get an idea of who you are, why you're doing this, just to get a more personal view beyond your resume. And through that application, all participants will be notified if they're selected by the end of December. So you'll have about a week between the 12/29 and then the first session starts on January 6th. And lastly, there will be a fee for this certification program. So for Junior League members, it's $75, and then for non-members, it's $100. And this just offsets the cost of bringing out, again, that credible third party that Courtney talked to. Other third-party companies, there are traditionally costs associated with it. It can run anywhere from like $150 usually. So this is somewhat of a savings cost, but again, it's really a tailored program for those Junior League Boston participants and non-members, really Greater Boston women. Any questions on the application process before moving on with like future opportunities that we see with the program?
Yeah, there's another question in the chat around applications. For Junior League members, will there be a specific mix of active versus sustainer members accepted?
Yeah, so as of right now, we've kind of just like opened it up to everyone. I think it's a criteria that we will look at in the future. We will consider a good mix for this cohort. But for right now, it will be both for active and sustainers and new members as well.
Great. And will the non-members group include men, or is this specific to women?
We're really focusing on those who identify as a woman as part of this program. But I think in years to come, it could evolve for something, but at least for this cohort, that's what we're looking for.
Great, thank you. And one more question. I know you mentioned we have this session and then another one in fall 2022. What is kind of like longer term? Do we know how often there will be a board certification program?
Yeah, so the plan is to run 2 every year moving forward. So we've already planned out essentially October, or planned out being roughly, we know what's happening in October. So we will be running a spring one, so likely January moving forward, so January 23, and then a fall one, October 23. We felt that this timing works well, kind of kicks off in the middle of winter. What else are we doing? Not much. So it's like, I have time to do it there, but then in the fall, hopefully things slow down a little bit after traveling for the summer, and you'd be able to take a session then too as well. But again, the opportunity, and I'll just kind of jump ahead, is really to add that matching support after you get the certification program. So this spring, the board seat initiative team would help you or let the team know, like, here are the opportunities out there. Here are some organizations we can connect you with, kind of help you guide that matching process. The second thing is like certification, like alum events as well at some point. I think there's an opportunity really to foster and grow that network as more participants, come into this program, and to fostering that connection there. And the last piece is scholarship opportunities. One opportunity that we do have, and hopefully we can implement it for the fall session, it's still pending, would be an opportunity where we would work with an organization, nonprofit organization. They would pay for the fee for this course and sponsor you essentially to then be on their board, or a board that they would place you on. So more details to come on that, but just another avenue to get people and get women involved on board seats.
Great. Back to the application.
Yep.
Are there certain criteria that board seat initiative members are looking for that applicants should have?
I think, yeah, again, right now it's really just as of right now, because it is the first year right now, it's just more of your resume, any leadership that you've done, whether it's within different nonprofits, it would be great to hear about. And again, understanding what kind of board seat you're hoping to get placed on, or board rather. I think it'll just help kind of add that mix, whether you're looking for something that's like woman-centric or focused, or children, or if you're looking for something with animals. Like there's a ton out there, and a wide array of different things. So I think just showcasing those interests is really what we're seeking.
Lauren, can I chime in right there
Yes.
on that question?
Perfect.
Just to make sure I heard, yeah, just
Yes.
to make sure I heard correctly. Was the question about qualifications or specific attributes that boards are looking for?
The question was more around the application process for this program.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Program, yeah.
Okay, then I have nothing to add. Go ahead, Lauren.
Nope, that's it. That was good.
New question coming in from the chat. Is there a limit to the number of times we can apply to the board certification program if we're not accepted this round?
Nope, I think it would be one where if, due to the being limited participants, for those who don't, are not selected for this round, definitely encourage you to apply for future rounds there too, as well. Anything else, Melissa? We good?
I think we're good on the chat for now. Thank you. Okay.
So I think the last thing, I will be sending this deck to Shannon so she can send out to you all with a link to the application as well. If there's any questions that you have as you're filling out the application, or anything else that you want to know about the program, please feel free to email me at boardseatinitiative@jlboston.org. We will be keeping an eye out on any emails that come through, knowing that we have about a week. The applications are due next Monday. Really hope and encourage all of you to apply. And I am really excited to finally kick off this program. Again, that has been years in the making, but it's going to be fantastic, and really excited to share it all with you. And with that, I think that's it. If there's any other last questions at all. All right. Thank you, everyone. Courtney, I'm so excited. We're like one step closer to having this. Shannon, Melissa, thank you both for helping put this on tonight. And
thank you very much. It was informative.
Thanks, Melissa. Bye,
Awesome.
everyone. Have a great night.
Good night,
Thanks,
ladies.
Lauren. Thanks, Melissa. Have a great night.
Good night.
Thank you.